Tech Garage, presented by Advance Auto Parts, is being brought to you by Lund, premium style, lasting performance. Steel Rubber, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. Clamp Tight, the clamp making tool. And by Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back on the road.
Welcome back to Tech Garage, presented by Advance Auto Parts. Now, Performance Playbook this week's all about fuel systems. We made Sable able, but in order to make this A-Fuel dragster able, it's going to take a lot of fuel. And it starts right here at the fuel tank. Runs down this massive pipe all the way back to the rear of the car, where we have to feed an estimated 4,000 horsepower. That takes a lot of fuel, and a special fuel. What kind of fuel do you use?
94% nitromethane and 6% alcohol.
And you also use a ton of it. I mean, tell me how much fuel you'll burn in 1/4 mile pass.
Roughly 6 gallons.
So a good analogy you told me, I mean, I'm dumping out a milk carton. By the time it empties, you burnt 6 gallons, 1/4 mile. How fast?
We're trying to hit 285 mile an hour.
Now, how much does the fuel pump actually pump?
Right now we're between 50 and 60 gallons.
Wow, and you're trying to up that for more performance, obviously. The inlet's huge. You got to flow a ton of fuel. Now, Drew's back upgrading a fuel system to match the horsepower you guys built into a Mustang Cobra.
This is for our 93 Mustang. Came in as a GT. You have to upgrade the tank for the dual pumps because the factory tank doesn't accept the dual pumps. There's not enough room. This is a boosted application. They'll be getting a Pro Charger. So to meet the demand of the air, you got to meet the demand for the fuel. So we back it up, dual pumps. We got the tank, we got the pump set up and the wiring harness and everything from Advance Auto Parts. We replaced the factory hat with the billet hat. This accepts the dual pumps, the AN lines for the bigger lines to feed the fuel. Everything gets switched out. The sending unit gets switched out from factory. It's a good plug and play system. Drop the pumps in, put it in the tank, you're ready to rock and roll. Wiring harness is to meet the demand of the 2 pumps that the factory harness can't handle. This is all relayed. Thicker power wire, everything to feed the new system. Pulled all the lines off the old tank, cleaned them all up, blew them all out, capped off a few things we didn't need, replaced the grommet for the neck. Pretty much just try to make it all nice and new. We'll go through, drop the hat in it. You got the tank, you got the plastic bottom that goes on it. Put that in it. Tank straps up on it, cinch them down, and you're ready to rock. Expected about a 700 horsepower motor. We had to go through and do the injectors. The internals have already been done. We'll go through and put it on the dyno when we're done with it, do the fine tuning and everything like that and get everything correct, the air and fuel correct. And it's overkill for what we need right now, but it's always good to have more than less.
That's the lowdown from Bernie's. Now it's time for the email question of the week.
John Savon from Phoenix emailed us this week. He has a 2015 Ford Fiesta that broke down. He ended up having to have it towed, got it back to the house. The car started back up and hasn't failed since. How do we get him started in the right direction?
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like a fuel pump issue. Now, Brian, fuel pumps are simple motors. I mean, here's one located right here. There's just windings and a magnet and an armature, and they can't touch. And a perfect example right here is our simple motor. So we're in the position right now where we're to the magnets, so we're really not going to get it to go. So what happened is maybe the tow truck came home, dropped it, jiggled it a little bit. If you give it a little kick, and there it goes, okay? So what happened? It got off the magnets and it starts to spin. Motors are really that simple. What causes that could be a fuel filter.
Certainly could be. If you have any kind of restriction in the fuel line, you're going to make that pump work harder than it was engineered and designed to. Here's a good look at a used fuel filter, a lot of dirt and contamination in there. Look how that compares to a brand new one. Clearly, the fuel pump pushing fuel through this filter would have to work harder and certainly draw more amps.
Perfect illustration for that is right here. We got a fuel pump right here. Here's the fuel filter. I'm going to simulate clogging it with this valve, and the return goes back to the tank, and we're going to measure the amps so we can actually see them go up. That's what's damaging the components. I'm going to turn this on here. You can see we're drawing about 4 amps, so I'm going to come over and close this. And when I close it, man, that thing's going up to 4.3, Brian, 4.4. I mean, just that quick. Think about that extra amp drawn. It's going to shorten the life. I mean, that's going to do some damage.
And I think that's what was going on in our Sable.
Exactly, and we got it all running now real good.
running great.
Hey, our RSX with those new injectors, whew, running like a top.
We got brakes, we got power, that thing's awesome.
Well, check us out on Twitter or YouTube. We'll see you next week for more Tech Garage, where we get you back on the road.
Production assistance for Tech Garage is provided by Chipola College, located in Marianna, Florida. Founded in 1947, Chipola was recently ranked as one of the top 3 community colleges in the United States.